So it's time to talk some football now, and we move into Europe, where two teams confirmed their spots in the UEFA Champions League semi-finals when their quarter-final ties were completed earlier on Tuesday. English Premier League club Aston Villa travelled, they were home, trying to overturn a 2-goal deficit against the French giants Paris Saint-Germain, trailing 3-1 after the first leg 1 week ago. They did manage to get 2 goals, but strikes from Hakimi and Mendes in the first half were enough to secure the tie, 4-5 on aggregate after losing the second 3-2. Meanwhile, it seemed to be an uphill battle for German team Borussia Dortmund at home against La Liga leaders Barcelona, who entered the second leg with a comfortable 4-0 lead. Dortmund did win 3-1 but lost 5-3 on aggregate. Yeah, Liz, exciting action today. Both of the teams that advanced were losers in the second leg, but their cushion from the first leg advantage saved the day for them.
Yeah, I expected especially the Aston Villa PSG game to be really close. I anticipated, as Unai Emery usually does, the Aston Villa gaffer, he usually he's an adjustments type of coach. So having seen the first leg, having seen the weaknesses in his setup, especially being away from home, his pragmatic approach, I expected that he would go home and really bring some fight and some fire to PSG, but PSG were also well equipped for that fight and fire, because if you were to look at the one change that they made in their lineup, well, they made 2 changes. Marquinhos coming back from suspension around the back, but the pivotal one, I think, was Bradley Barcola coming in for Desiree Doué on that left-hand side, and I think that was just all with transitions in mind, and you saw that with the first goal. Aston Villa were going to press, but because of the fact that PSG used an extra man in their build-up, being their keeper, Aston Villa were always going to be a little bit stretched at the back, and you see here 3 Aston Villa players against the front 3 of PSG. Hakimi arriving late, it was always going to be difficult, and that's exactly what it proved to be. So yeah, I think it was a very good tactical game, but above all, in terms of tactics, it was just a very good game of football. It was simplified football, just the home team riding the momentum of their home crowd, creating chances, scoring goals, and PSG doing their best to stave that off and creating chances and scoring goals themselves.
Look, I think PSG is probably the most rounded team in the competition, outside of Barcelona perhaps, this year. We can feel free to disagree. The thing is that, I mean, watching them play, they are a team that doesn't rely on any one player. They are a unit. They are very smooth flowing. They understand each other almost telepathically. But today, they came up against an Aston Villa team that was ready for a fight. I wanted to bring attention, I started to bring attention to Tielemans. I thought he was very instrumental in how well Aston Villa played today. Talk to me a little bit about the influence that he had on the game, because he also scored, but he also was very crucial in a lot of the build-ups that made Aston Villa very dangerous today.
Yeah, I think Tielemans, generally speaking, has been one of the most underrated midfielders in Europe this season. He's top 5 in a lot of statistics when it comes down to ball progression, whether it be through the carry or the pass. He covers a lot of ground as well. Very decisive, generally speaking, when in the final third also. So I think he was very important in unsettling PSG, because what Aston Villa did, they moved him from the base of the midfield and played him in a toppling position, attacking midfield. They went for 2 ball winners at the base of midfield in Kamara and bringing in Onana. So it was always going to be the game plan, because what Aston Villa tried to do in the first leg was to make PSG play in front of them. In this game, they were much more proactive and tried to basically swarm the PSG midfield. And the PSG midfield is one of it's a very highly technical. And with Vitinha, João Neves, who is more combative than both Vitinha and Fabian Ruiz, but is still at his base, at his core, a highly technical player. As I said, I alluded to it last week, there's only been 1 team so far this season in all competitions, in games that I've seen PSG play, where they struggled in terms of having to cope with anything physical in the midfield. And when I say physical, I'm not only meaning tough challenges or just strength, but also the running power of teams, the ability of them to win the second balls, the ability of them to maintain pressure, the ability for them to just bounce off challenges, and that's what Aston Villa went for. And the team I'm alluding to is Arsenal, of course, when they beat PSG in the group stages. And in all honesty, I'm not saying, as I said last week as well, PSG are alongside Barcelona, when it comes down to the midfield area, they're the only two teams that I think that have a significantly higher technical ability than everyone else left in the competition. But physicality always reigns, especially in these Champions League games, which are usually so transition heavy. And that's why PSG struggled a bit away from home to Arsenal, because when you have Declan Rice running at you, Vitinha, João Neves, Fabian Ruiz, they're going to struggle. And it's a similar thing today when you saw McGinn, who dominated parts of the game. Tielemans isn't that bustling runner, but he's a very intelligent runner. Onana had a good game. Kamara had a good game. If you realize, they brought on Jacob Ramsey to continue that trend as opposed to bringing on a pure winger like Leon Bailey, for example. So I think it was just all about winning the physical battle, which I think for the most part Aston Villa did. But in the end, the chances and the goals they allowed early in the game was always going to be at a detriment to them.
Absolutely. And I mean, Tielemans actually forced Donnarumma to pull off a brilliant save, pulling the ball literally almost out of the net today. That was really spectacular. It was a really good game. But when you look at the Barcelona and PSG are currently now through. Of the two teams, I think that they meet in the next round, don't it?
No, PSG are going to play either Arsenal or Madrid.
They're on the outside of the draft. If those two teams make it through to the final, what's your thought?
I'm not sure yet. I still would lean Barcelona, because Barcelona are a team that Hansi Flick has them playing in a very interesting way, because PSG, as I mentioned, their rest defense, which is the rest defense is the rest of the defense. So when a team is attacking, they push 5 players forward, 6 players forward. The other 4 or 5 players, those are the rest defense players. PSG, yes, Nuno Mendes is a great athlete. Marquinhos, a little bit susceptible. Pacho is a very good one-on-one defender and very physical as well. But that holding midfielder, usually the rest defense of other really good teams, that you need that steely midfielder that's in there to really stave off those attacks before they even start. That's why Rodri is so valuable, for example. PSG, at the base of their midfield, it's Vitinha. And if you were to watch back the first Aston Villa goal, if we were to bring it up now, you would see that he struggles to recover when the ball is turned over. Yes, PSG don't often turn over the ball, but when they do, you do need that contingency. And I think that PSG will struggle against the directness of a Barcelona team, but PSG can hold the ball with the best of them and slow down the tempo. So I do think that will be a very intricate matchup. Look at Vitinha trying to recover here. And it's not only the failed recovery, but he's also failed to win the duel and then didn't get back into a position to cut the passing lane. So I'm not saying that Vitinha is a bad player, obviously not. He's one of the most fantastic in-possession players in the world. But when you have him at the base of your midfield, it's always going to be an issue. Let's look at it one more time. They turn over the ball here. He's too high, first of all, not effecting a counter press, and then he fails to get back to Tielemans. And Tielemans isn't a spring chicken, for example. The ball is played back, he's not alert enough to win that duel. He then gives up on the play and allows that pass to then go through to Tielemans again. So it's those small details and the nitpicking of things. That's what games come down to at the highest level. And Barcelona, I think, have the talent and the ability, especially on the transition, to take advantage of that.
Yeah, just quickly before we look ahead to the matches tomorrow, I saw some match reviews that had Marcus Rashford as the man of the match for the game. Are you in agreement with that call?
I wouldn't say I'm in agreement, but that's just how you look at football, because at the end of the day, he created the most chances on the pitch with 4, completed the most dribbles on the pitch with 4, and had an assist as well. It was a lovely assist. He was extremely effective, especially in the second half. I think it's just really how you look at the flow of the game. I think there are other candidates. Tielemans had a really good game. I think Konsa was very effective as well for Aston Villa. But, you know, Rashford was very impactful, so I wouldn't necessarily argue and disagree, because what he did here to create the 3rd goal was absolutely fantastic. Again, Vitinha, a bit lackluster in his challenging. So, yeah, I think he had a very good game.
And were there any worries for Barcelona fans today?
Not necessarily. I think they were always going to take this game a bit light.
Yes.
And people have to remember that they're also in a La Liga title race.
Yeah.
They started the exact same lineup that they did from the first leg over the weekend against Leganes. So they were bound to be a little bit leggy and possibly take their foot off the gas. So I don't think there's too much to worry about, because I'm sure Flick will get his charges ready. Pedri didn't even start.
Yeah, but you're asking. 2019, Barcelona beat Liverpool 3-0 and then came to Anfield and lost 4-0. I'm sure that must have gone through their minds today.
Possibly. There aren't too many players, if any, that would have been in that squad.
Yeah, I agree.
But it does cross the mind a bit. But I don't think Dortmund was ever going to trouble them enough for that thought to seriously come into the mind.
I think that own goal changed the dynamic of the game now. Yeah.
All right, for tomorrow's matches, Inter and Arsenal are the two teams that go in with the advantages. Arsenal ahead of Real Madrid and Inter ahead of Bayern. By the scores, it looks as if Arsenal has the easier opportunity to keep their lead. Is that how you're seeing it?
Yes. That's how I'm seeing it. Obviously, both of the games will still be difficult to call. Everyone knows what it's like to go to the Bernabeu with a lead or not. We've seen Real Madrid usurp many a lead, turn over many of the best teams in the world consistently, even though they have a lead, even down to the last minute. So obviously you can't take Real Madrid lightly, but I do think that Arsenal has the tools and a 3-0 cushion. So surely they'll be able to get through to the next round. And in case of Inter Milan, I chose them to win the tie, generally speaking, because of I think they're a stronger team than Bayern Munich at current. Bayern Munich lost quite a few players to injury, key players as well, especially Musiala, who is so important to the system that they play because of how, I would say, reliant they are on his ball progression through carries. He's one of the best dribblers in world football, really, Musiala. So it was always going to be difficult for the first leg. Inter got the victory there. And I think at home, Inter Milan are possibly, I would say, alongside Arsenal, the best defensive team when defending their home turf. So I think it will be an Inter win again, and they'll go through to the semi-final to face Barcelona, which will be a great tie.
All right, we're going to leave it there, Lish. We hope to see you tomorrow, because two big games on tomorrow as well. We hope they are as exciting as the ones that we saw today.
I hope at least one of them is not exciting at all. I hope
I wonder which game that's going to be.
A 0-0 in one of those games, I won't say which one, would be lovely for me personally. I don't know.
Our Arsenal fan, Lish Williams. we hope to talk to you tomorrow. And we hope that you'll be in good spirits.
I hope so too.
Yeah, we'll be back with more on the SportsMax Zone after this.